half a second of their
Yeah,
music.
yeah,
right.
How do you like sum up on your entire album in like say 10 seconds?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, right.
Now, would you mind doing a reading for us?
Oh,
Just
I'd love
give us
to,
a
yeah.
Let's hear a little bit.
taste about what this book is all about.
And I'll just start at the beginning. I think it
Sure.
Luckily, this book is set up so you can start at the beginning. Works
Set up
pretty
very
well.
well.
I don't have to pick like page 72 or something.
There's so much else to learn.
All right. Despite the weak knees, dizziness, and dread that came with his mounting blood hunger, Jonathan Stoker moved with urgency, packing up his most prized possessions, his lightweight toolkit, a couple of fake IDs, box cutters, a bundle of cash, pay-as-you-go cell phones, Tegaderm patches with some bags of microwave popcorn, and crowd control, the 18-inch heavy-duty pipe wrench he kept around for dealing with life's little surprises. He tucked all of these into his convertible utility bag, a custom-made tote with a set of straps and clips that allowed him to shape it into a motorcycle saddlebag or a backpack or a courier bag as needed. He made a sweep of the tired workshop that he'd called home for almost 3 years, letting himself be amazed by the volume of crap he'd accumulated. There were punching bags and old chairs, a brass lamp he'd found in an alleyway, an almost complete set of the 1978 edition of the Encyclopedia Britannica, a plasma welding torch, not to mention all the crates of scavenged computer hardware. He stopped for a moment to consider grabbing a box of Turkish cigars, but decided against it, because he smoked them more out of loneliness than anything else. Then he retrieved the faded newspaper clipping from the Nashua Telegraph, a local college student found mutilated in park. He held the clipping for a moment, then folded it into an envelope and shoved it in with the rest. Finally, he set the invitation to the vampire congregation on fire. He watched orange and yellow flames eat away at the thick parchment, the heavy ink occasionally turning the flame blue. When the fire had consumed the summons, he swept the ashes into a steel wastebasket. Hitting the road? The voice came out of nowhere. Jonathan's canines pushed their way out of his gums as he moved without thinking. He swung around, grabbed the intruder by the arm, and threw him to the concrete floor. "Jesus!" Sully hollered. "You trying to kill me?" Jonathan froze, his teeth retracting to a human length, as he regarded his landlord. "What the hell are you doing here, Sully?" Sully pressed one hand against his lower back as Jonathan helped him up. "You told me to come over, Johnny. I said to come by yesterday. It's too late now." "I did come by yesterday, after lunch. You didn't answer your door." Sully looked around until he found his Red Sox cap that had come off and promptly returned it to his head, covering his gray hair. Jonathan sighed. "I already told you. I'm a vampire. I sleep during the day." "Whatever you say, Captain." One of Sully's more interesting qualities was that he just rolled with things that seemed strange. Jonathan guessed that it was because Sully's father had been with the Irish mob, so he'd grown up in a house where you didn't question people's stories, no matter how improbable. "So I'm here now, and I can see that your big news is that you're leaving town." "My life's gotten complicated lately," Jonathan said. He rifled through the bag, counted out 2 months' rent, and put it into Sully's palm. "I might be gone for a while." God, he was thirsty. And for a flickering moment, his subconscious suggested that Sully would make an acceptable thirst quencher. "You're not coming back, are you?" Sully asked with an air of resignation. "You can keep my deposit, too." "Well, it was a pleasure. You were one of my better tenants, anyway." Sully shuffled through Jonathan's studio towards the back door, but he turned around. "You know, if it's a matter of money, I could probably get you a job. You work with computers, right? I'm assuming you're like, a hacker or whatever?" Jonathan was only half listening as he glanced out the window to the street, watching for any odd movements. "I'm not really a technical guy, Sully. I just have this knack for figuring things out. Fixing old computers lets me exercise that knack and keeps my mind off other things." "But you aren't some kind of pervert or kiddie porn guy or anything." "I hate perverts." "Good, then we're on the same page, because my grandson's school needs a computer tech." "What?" "My grandson, Tommy. The computer guy at the school left. They've been looking for a new one. You could get an honest job out of this." "I have a hard time with honest jobs." Sully was undeterred. "Hey, it's a chance to do something good for families." Jonathan didn't like to think about families, and the idea of children brought tendrils of depression creeping into his mind. He used a memory of fishing at Douglas Pond as a buffer against the inevitable loneliness that would come next. And the picture that came to mind, fishing on that sun-dappled lake, did its job, softening the blow. "That sounds nice, Sully, but I don't think it's going to happen." I was taking a lot of Jonathan's focus not to throw the old man down, slice his throat, and treat himself to a nice, long draft. Sully smiled. He nodded in a tired way, patted his pants and shirt pockets, checking for keys, reading glasses, and wallet. "Okay, Stoker, have it your way. But I've known you long enough to know that you're a good guy, so call me when you change your mind." He started to leave. "Wait." Jonathan put a hand on Sully's shoulder, licked his lips, and forced himself to ask the question he didn't really want to address. The reason I wanted to see you yesterday didn't have anything to do with me leaving. It's about this street. You have a few properties around here, right? Sully nodded. The triple-decker up the road and this place, plus the used car lot. So you're up here during the daytime, right? Doing maintenance and stuff? I was wondering if you've seen a young guy hanging out during the day. You know, maybe scoping the place out. A young man. Maybe he was wearing a red hoodie. A kid in a red jacket? Not much to go on there, Stoker. What is he, an enemy of yours? I don't know, Jonathan lied. Just someone who I thought was following me. Doesn't ring a bell, but I'll keep my eyes open. Anyway, I gotta go. Football starts in 20 minutes. Jonathan counted 3 deep, long breaths until Sully was out of the front door. He clipped on the harness straps that turned his utility bag into a motorcycle saddlebag, which he attached to his BMW Montauk. Here he was again on the verge of running. He opened the oversized workshop door and rolled the bike slowly over the sidewalk and down the adjacent curb cut without starting the engine, not wanting the neighborhood to mark his exit. He moved so quietly, in fact, that he could make out the flutter of wings far above. He formed a false hope that it was only a stray seagull, but looking up confirmed his fears. It was an ugly monster bat with leathery wings, an upturned nose, and long fangs. A bat looking for a reply to the invitation he'd burned. To hell with being sneaky. He gunned it and roared northwards.
Wow.
Yeah, buddy.
Definitely very good.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Now, most of this book actually takes place in Boston. You got a lot of Boston locations.